Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview, this time covering VCT Americas Stage 2 playoffs. My guest at this time is Zekken of Sentinels, this time coming off of their match against G2 in the upper bracket finals, losing 2-0 to thus go down to the lower bracket finals, awaiting their opponent, whoever it is it may be. And so, Zach, thank you so much for the opportunity. Really do appreciate it. And of course, losing today, gonna hit you with the obvious opener. How are you feeling?
Shitty. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I'm supposed to curse. I feel bad. Definitely pretty upset with how we played and how I played, and obviously upset with the result. But trying to do a little mental reset, just go through all the emotions that losing brings you, and hope to be back better tomorrow and the next day.
This is another match with G2, but obviously this is different compared to the previous one early on in Stage 2. This time with Leaf subbing in for, bringing back in for Baby Bay. And obviously in that previous encounter, you had to face that team with Baby Bay. So obviously plenty of changes maybe for this team in preparation for this matchup. What was that like, having to focus from just facing G2 without Leaf to now today facing them with Leaf? And obviously, what do you think was the biggest difference that stood out to you in regards to those two versions?
It was tough to play against. I definitely think that the strongest version of G2 is the version that has Leaf on it. The Baby Bay version was strong, but obviously they would want one of their star players over their sub. So it was definitely tough to match up into them today. They played the same old G2 playstyle, like very fundamentally sound. Then you have like Jogamo and Leaf being like the two kind of like X factors on the team. So nothing like crazy unexpected from them, but they just played a solid game today, and they definitely look better with Leaf than Baby Bay, I think.
This matchup saw you guys play Bind and Sunset. Bind most specifically, first and foremost, just it's a map that you guys haven't really played at all. The most specifically, the previous occasion you guys played that map was back in like Masters Toronto early on in the year. Just want to ask you, just sort of first and foremost about going for that route, just having to leave that on and then finally having the chance to play that. How did you view the team's performance on that map, and what do you feel are the biggest things to work on from this matchup on that map?
I think we started pretty strong. We won pistol in the anti-eco and then lost the bonus, but came back the next round. So we definitely had a solid start. Then we just kind of failed to close out rounds to make the first half a good half. I think we ended 5-7 or something along those lines after a 3-1 start. So I definitely think we had chances and opportunities to kind of push the pace and get off to a good start, but we just like missed a few shots or played some micro situations poorly. So there's definitely room to grow there, but the start was promising. And then on defense, they just have a very strong, like execute heavy comp that was very difficult to hold against. And we came to a few solutions, but by the time we came to those solutions, they had already stacked up like 4 or 5 rounds in a row on us. So it's just tough to come back when they have that kind of momentum. So I do think we came to the right ideas eventually and knew what we wanted to do, but just not in time. And yeah, I think if we could run it back again, we'd probably win knowing what we know now, but it was very tough to play against the first time.
Talk to me about Sunset now. Obviously, that was a map in which the team struggled on defense side on the first half, and obviously it was. I want to ask you, if is it kind of similar to how rough it was to play Bind and just having to spend a lot of time to just decipher the team G2 and just having to figure out how they play, or is there different? Is it different in a different sense?
I think Sunset was a bit less of like trying to figure out what they were doing and countering it. I think we had a pretty solid idea and good game plan going in, and we just executed it poorly. I think we made too many major mistakes, and they were winning quite a lot of clutches too. Like I think Jonah and Leaf both had a 1v3 or a 1v2, so it was big push and momentum for them. So we kind of just had to we cleaned up towards the end of the half and we're starting to play our game more, but just can't be making those kinds of big mistakes early on, letting them get a big, I think it was 9-3 lead in the first half. Just can't be letting that happen.
I mean, I believe on the stat department you had a pretty rough Sunset. Obviously, kind of referring to the previous time frames that I mentioned in the previous question. How difficult was it for you to just continue, or more so try to play your usual game, and just having to deal with all of the obstacles that G2 threw upon you?
It was definitely tough, especially on attack. They have the double senti with the Sage and the Chamber, so there's a lot of different things that I gotta be aware of and try to avoid, especially on our attack. And I do think I had a solid opportunity to get the ball rolling on defense, but I just didn't. So that's on me. It's just something I have to be better at the next time we match up against something like that. But on offense, it's definitely tough against the double Senti. Even though I am Neon and have different things that I can abuse, they have a lot of stall and a lot of things to stop me. So I just got to do a better job of playing around it, make sure I'm playing smarter and still hitting my shots. But yeah, just couldn't really get the ball rolling.
Sentinels have solidified themselves as one of the best or the best team in VCT Americas throughout the regular season, and obviously I can feel you guys had the expectation of continuing that form through playoffs into grand finals. Unfortunately, that didn't happen today, losing to G2. But looking over into the other side of the coin, G2 had to kind of switch Leaf out for Baby Bay, and now that he's back in, winning today. Do you feel like now G2 is kind of back in that pole position as the best team in Americas, or do you feel like not really?
We'll just have to see. I definitely think the version of ourselves that played today was not the best version of ourselves that we could bring to a match. I definitely think that we can be way better, but also we haven't seen like the ceiling of G2 with Leaf back. So you never know. They could be better than this, or this could be their best. Don't really know. I guess that would be up to them to see if they were playing at their peak or not. But I definitely think on a good day we can beat them, and I'm hoping that we can get that grand finals rematch and be able to prove it.
For sure, and hopefully that can happen in due time. And so a few more questions before I wrap this up. Obviously looking into the future, sure, you still have Stage 2 playoffs still competing in that, and then moving on over to finals. Hopefully it happens. We'll see. After that, you guys can compete in Champions. I had a chance to talk to Kaplan about his thoughts on going there and the teams that he wants to face. So I want to pivot over to you, ask the same kind of deal. Your thoughts on where this region stands with you guys, G2, MIBR, and then also the winner of Cloud9 and NRG representing this region going to Paris. Where do you think this region stacks up to the rest of the other competition and those that have qualified as well at the same time?
I definitely think with that, Americas is bringing strong 4 teams, whether it be NRG or C9. I think we're bringing some good representation to champs. I don't know for sure how we're going to stack up against the other regions. G2 and us are the only teams that have like consistently made the internationals, so it's hard to say where MIBR or NRG or C9 will fare compared to the other teams, just because they haven't played them yet. But I do think us and G2 will be able to compete against the other regions and hold our own, and I guess we'll just have to see for the teams that haven't gotten that much experience yet.
Got any teams that you want to take on, or player that you want to take on more specifically in France?
No, I mean, I want to play everyone, to be honest. I don't mind any region, any matchup. I'm excited for, so I'll just be really happy to play on the international stage again.
No revenge against like other teams that you faced off in Toronto, Bangkok, or those any?
Let's play Paper X and Fnatic and hope to get revenge. I think it'll be fun. Those are always really fun teams to face. They make for great games, so I hope we can beat them.
Of course. One more question before I wrap this up officially. Next matchup, C9 NRG. Any thoughts on any preference? Any views as to who is going to come up against you in the lower bracket finals?
Ooh. That one feels very 50-50 to me. I feel like both teams are are like very solid form. That was the reason that they were able to like make the run and get to this point. I straight up think it's a coin flip, to be honest, because it's a really solid matchup, especially between the duelists. Both Mata and Oxy are insane. So I think it'll be a real show of firepower when they play against each other. And we've got the Cubert Academy graduate Scuba, so I'm excited to see him play as well. I'll say it's going to be an NRG 2-1, and we'll play against them tomorrow, but I could be proven wrong. You never know.
Never know indeed. And so Zekken, thank you so much for the opportunity. Really do appreciate it. And of course, hopefully, we can see you again in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you.